Hey guys, welcome back to Young and Unscripted. Welcome back to another dilemmas video. It's actually been a while since I've just sat down and dived into the dilemmas, so I'm really excited. And of course, we're going to start with one thing that I've learned this week. What have I been learning recently? I think recently I've just been learning the power of trusting in yourself, and I think it's probably something that I've spoken about before. But recently, I've really been leaning into that. And I think it's been like a really powerful state that I've been in. I think it's allowed me to be more calm in my reactions to things and not let them affect me. So I think even if it's like the world is feeding you such positive things or it's like dragging you down, I think either being a bit more level headed and just like knowing who you are and trusting in yourself so that you don't have like an inflated ego and get lost in that. Because then I feel like if you can easily get lost in that, then you can also be dragged down as easily, if that makes sense. So I think I've just really learned to trust in myself, get to know myself, and really be comfortable in who I am. Because I think it's such a thing that sounds like, oh yeah, we're ourselves. Why wouldn't we be comfortable in who we are? But I think that's one thing. If we're not comfortable in ourselves, then I think that's when we become so susceptible to like the opinions of other people and just general life events. So yeah, that's my lesson for this week. Trust in yourself. Let's dive straight into the first dilemma. Everyone tells me to be patient, but what if they're wrong? I've been consistently creating for 4 years. People always say, keep going, it'll happen eventually, but nobody can actually promise that. At what point does persistence become denial? It's interesting that everybody's actually telling you to be patient and you're more like, oh, like, people are around you are trusting in you, but you're kind of still being like, oh, but should I be patient or it's been 4 years? It's such a hard battle. I think sometimes we're like, when do we know when to stop? I think you just have to keep going unless it doesn't feel right anymore, I think just keep going. Depending on your circumstance and your situation, if you're at a point where it is draining you more and you're starting to resent it, and I feel like the negatives are outweighing the positives, and you're just thinking, I'm doing it because I said I wanted to do it and I'm just keeping going with that, then maybe do take a step back, not necessarily quitting, just take a step back from it and then get a bit of space to really evaluate your life and where you're at and what you actually want to do. Because I think sometimes we do make promises to ourselves and we're like, well, I have to do it because I said I was going to do it. I think they are right in saying be patient, in terms of if they really see something in you and you see something in yourself, which is obviously more important and the most important thing, then keep going with it. If you still feel like, no, I have the drive to do it, and it makes you feel like really happy, whatever you're doing, whatever creative thing that it is that you're passionate about, if you still really enjoy doing it and you still feel driven to make it happen, then keep going. We're so obsessed as humans with time. We're like, okay, how many years has it been? What have I done this year? I'm completely like that. I'm like, what have I done this year? And we measure it all in these time metrics, but really it could be a second and your life can change, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, and you'll kind of forget how hard and how far away it felt before. But my main advice would be just see how you're really feeling about it and how it's motivating you and how passionate you feel. But I also would say it's unrealistic to be so passionate about it all the time, because when you keep pursuing something and like nothing is changing it, it can feel really hard. And it's something Sienna and I actually speak about in our little 1 year recap that's coming up. But I think that is romanticized a little bit, of like just dying for the passion of it all. Obviously, it's sometimes hard in reality, but I think there is a difference, and in your intuition if it's still something you want to do. So I think lean into that voice and listen to it. But of course, when you said nobody can actually promise that, of course, like nobody can tell you it's all going to work out, and that's fact. But I think at the end of the day, you truly know what's best for you and what feels right for you. And like, if you really do think, no, I can see that things are going to work out and all of this hard work is leading to something, I just don't think now's the time to quit, then you keep going. If you're like, I don't even like this anymore, I'm just doing it and it's really weighing on me. For instance, there's a lot of burdens, like the financial burden, a lot of things going on that you have to fight against to pursue your dream. But you just have to find out for you whether it's worth it and whether it's calling you. And I really do think the answers are there and they're in your intuition. At what point does persistence become denial is a really interesting way to think about it. I think sometimes don't overthink it all. If you sit there and overthink it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, have I just wasted this time and all of this? And I don't think anything is a waste of time. I think as long as you're being called to do something and you're experiencing life and you're enjoying yourself and you feel driven towards it, that is not a waste of time. As long as you're comfortable in your circumstances and you're able to make things work in a way that is healthy for you, then keep going. If it's getting to the point where it's not healthy anymore and you're not, that drive's gone, then maybe evaluate things and take that step and see what you really want to do. That's my advice on that. On to the next dilemma. I've got my dream job and I want to quit. For years, I told everyone that working in a top creative agency was the dream. Last year, I got the job, and everyone was so proud of me. The problem is that I hate it. The work isn't creative, the hours are awful, and I haven't made anything for myself in months. The version of me from 5 years ago would think I'm crazy for even considering leaving. Do I seek out an opportunity because it's objectively amazing, or do I walk away from the thing I've spent years chasing? I think this goes on quite nicely from the last dilemma. Sometimes we do obsess over a goal or a thing that we really think is the thing for us. And maybe sometimes we get it and it's not. And then that's quite a horrible, I think it's quite a crushing feeling, really, because it's like, this is what I've always wanted. So, in a way, this is my dream. I should be loving it and I should be happy in it. Okay, you've been in the job for a year. It's important to note the time frame because I also do think jobs, when you first start them, even if it's our dream job, I always think it's still a new job and you can still face challenges and it can still be quite demanding, even if it's something that we really want. And sometimes we do settle in. But by the sounds of it, you've been in the job for about a year. And I do think a year is enough time to kind of gauge how you're feeling about it and whether it's benefiting your life or it's kind of just draining you. And it does seem to be draining you. You're saying you hate it. And I think that's quite a strong feeling towards it. And you know that it's probably not right for you. And you're saying the work isn't even creative. And you thought when you had that dream that it would be, and you've got there and you'd be like, oh no. One thing that I think is really good is when you're looking for a job when you already have a job, there's a lot of power in that. My agent actually told me that. They said sometimes when people like book something, they often book a lot of other things because you're less attached to like, I need to get this thing. You're just like more like, okay, I'm just doing this, I'm confident in that, and then other stuff will come. But also for you, you're not in that scarcity mindset of I need a job, I need money, I need this. I say that the hours aren't great and you're not getting that money, but at least you do have, I assume, some income from the job, and you have a job. So there's a lot of power in now looking for a job whilst you already have a job because you're not desperate. You're not just going to take anything. You can now be more intentional. I also think getting experience is the best way to gauge what you want and what you don't want. And sometimes it's really powerful to find out what you don't want. And you found, okay, I don't like the hours of this job. So now when you're looking for jobs, you're going to look at the descriptions. Is it something that you feel is creative? You can do more research, find out about people who work in that sort of field. And also when you walk into the interview, you can also be asking questions about the nature of the job and be more inquisitive to what it actually consists of, because you're not just like, I'm sure when you got this job you're just like, this is my dream job, I need it, I want it, no questions asked, let's go into it. But now you're in the industry, you kind of know what that job consists of and what you would want more for yourself. So I think it's actually really great that you've learned the things that you respond to and what you like and what you don't like, and now when you're looking for another job you'll have those things in mind. So I would say you don't have to quit immediately unless it's really weighing on you and you are able to do that financially and that feels like the right move for you. But if it's not, be looking, applying to new jobs. I don't know if you've been doing that. It doesn't sound like you have started the job search yet. Be very intentional with your applying. Apply to stuff that you really do think that you would like. Obviously, you won't know till you get there. And also, it might take a couple of jobs for you to get the job that you really like. But this is all experience that can add to your portfolio, add to your LinkedIn. I'm sure this experience will get you more interviews into more places. So you were still meant to have this job. This is just a stepping stone to more things. I think sometimes we want to be at the final result immediately, but this is all stepping stones to getting you to a job that is actually your dream job. And I think don't obsess over the fact that this is the job you always chased, because you didn't know that it was like that. You'd never worked it. You saw it from the outside, and now you've worked inside that company and you know what it's truly about, and you've learned, okay, actually I've learned more about myself as a person and how I respond to things in the working world, and I know what I want, and my dream has changed, and that's okay. I think we have to be very open to ourselves evolving and changing as humans and not being so attached to like our old identity and the old thing that we wanted. But it's hard to sometimes let go of that. But don't see yourself as failing. I think you're evolving and learning more about yourself. I know it's not always the easiest to get a job, but I truly believe you've got this experience, you will get another job and you will find something that is more aligned with you. You know, this is sounds like your first job in the industry that you want to work in. So it's not always going to be the first one that is your favorite and the one meant for you. It's actually a really positive step in the right direction for your career growth. Okay, on to the next dilemma. I've become the person I used to be jealous of. A few years ago, I scrolled through Instagram wishing I had someone else's life. Now people message me saying they wish they had mine. The problem is, I still don't feel successful. Every milestone just moves the goalposts. Does that feeling ever stop? I think this is a very normal feeling for ambitious people. The goalpost is always going to move and there's always going to be more that you can achieve. But that's why you have to try really hard to find some contentness, I think. I also think that might be an imposter syndrome thing as well. I could still be better and, oh, not quite successful yet. And people from the outside like, you're successful. And you're like, no, because I know what I really want. I think there's nothing wrong with keeping on striving for those goals and striving for more. That's probably what has made you a successful person and will continue to. But I also do think as much as life is about, achieving things and doing great things for yourself because you deserve it and you deserve to give yourself your dream life. I also think it is finding some sort of contentness and happiness and finding those ways to be grounded because you don't want to be in a situation where you're always chasing for more. I think you need to separate your drive for your career, which obviously is going to keep going, but also your personal contentness and not only having that attached to your career, if that makes any sense. See the things that truly fulfill you, like things also outside of your career, your family, your friends, travel, whatever it is for you that actually gives you happiness. I think it's important to also acknowledge that that is also a form of success and happiness and contentness that you need to have. And in terms of feeling successful in your career, I mean, I think it's good you're even acknowledging how far you've come and how far you've come from being that person who was looking at other people's lives, wishing it was them, and then being like, oh my gosh, now people are doing that to me, and I'm focused on my own life, and I'm actually really succeeding. So I think it's good that you've acknowledged it. I think take that time to acknowledge your achievements, look back and be like, I've done this, and every small win, celebrate it, acknowledge it. Don't just move straight on to the next one. I think it's good to achieve something and then be like, oh, great. And not imagine just achieving one goal and being like, okay, great. Then you'd probably not be progressing so much. But definitely take a moment to acknowledge it. Sienna actually does this really good thing where she writes down every achievement that she does, any win that she has, no matter how big or how small it may seem, is still an achievement. And she'll write it down and then at the end of the year, I think she will take out the piece of paper from the jar and read all of them. And sometimes she was telling me she'll even forget about like some achievements. She said it's quite overwhelming in quite a positive way because it's like, oh my gosh, I've done so much and I'm so proud of myself. And that, in a way, inspires you to do more for yourself, but in a more of a healthy way because you're acknowledging how much you've already done. Take those moments to sit and reflect and slow it down. The world is moving very fast and we all move very fast. We need those times to just reflect. We don't have to be stuck in the past, but just be present. I've achieved this. It's really great. Let me celebrate this. I think maybe you're living in the future a bit, which is so normal. Take that time to just be present and look what's happening around you at the moment. I really do think gratitude is the most important thing always. I think you hear so many people talk about it, but it is because it's true. It makes us content because being motivated is great, but if you're living a life where you're never fulfilled, you might reach a state where what if there is no goals? Imagine you're like, I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve, and you're looking for them, and you're like, now I still feel unfulfilled. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So I think learning gratitude early on in your journey is going to be very important in keeping you grounded and keeping you happy, really, because that's what we want, right? To just be happy in this life. We don't want to just be successful and miserable. That's all the dilemmas for this week. Thank you so much for watching Young and Unscripted. And I'll see you guys next week. And please give me all your dilemmas and email them to us. Our email is linked below. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.